you have to feed the beast. And the way that you feed the beast in success is to be able to navigate failure over and over and over again. And I read it this way too. Success is going from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm. Hey, welcome to today's podcast episode on the Success and Significance podcast. I'm your host, Eric Newman, and I am honored that I get to spend a little bit of time today. What we'll be diving into is the actual word of success. So what does success mean? What does the world think success means? And honestly, at the end of the day, success is what we say about ourselves. So on today's episode, we're just going to jump right in. We're going to start with the actual definition that I found on the amazing World Wide Web, in case you're wondering. The definition of success is the accomplishment of an aim or a purpose. So right there, just within the definition, most people, it's funny, as I've dove into this topic and this subject, I asked them what success means to them. And automatically money is one of the first things that people say, which, again, this is not a poverty gospel podcast. Success, you have to have money to be able to pour out significance. But I think it's pretty amazing that it says the accomplishment of an aim or a purpose is the definition of success. So boiling that definition down, to me, the way that I interpret that is that it is a goal and it's an aim. So action without aim is exhausting. So we have to have goals, we have to have plans, and we have to have plans that actually work. So how do we create all of that stuff? I think that we have to boil down to the root of the problem. And just, this is a big topic, which is success. And so the more that I spend thinking about it, the more that I spend researching. You can go to anywhere, you can read any books, any type of websites, and everybody gives you a different definition of what success means to them, which I think it's why it's such a challenging topic. But in my research, I was able to find something called the Success Index, and it was produced back in 2019 from Gallup. And so there was about 76 attributes of what people, as they did surveys, and they asked thousands of people, but there was about 76 attributes, but then it was boiled down to 8. And so the attributes of success based on this survey was character, education, finance, health, quality of life, relationships, status, and then work. And then a separate study showed that the highest ranking was 17% was education, which is pretty interesting when you ask people, especially in other countries. Like, I've had the honor to go to El Salvador. I've had the honor to surf all over the globe. But then the people that get the most recognition in those countries are the ones that actually went to university. So meaning education was the top rated at 17%, which I think is pretty interesting. The next was relationship, character, finance, and health were all ranked around 11% to 15%, which I thought was pretty interesting. And then quality of life was 7.8%. And then status was dead last at 5%, which is crazy to me that when I think about success, I automatically think of like quality of life. Yes, I think about finances because you have to have the finances to actually produce the quality of life that you're looking for. But it blows my mind that quality of life was only 7.8%. And so then another study showed 97. So if you ask society what success means, it's status, money, and get this, likes. So what, like, if you ask society what it looks like, which I'm still trying to figure out how they asked the individual and then they just asked what society meant. But 97% of people that were asked what does success look like to society, 97% of people said status, money, and likes on social media, which is crazy to me. So why are there so many definitions of success? Why is it a multi-billion-dollar business? It's because you have to have success to succeed in this world. You have to be able to figure out how and what success looks like to you so that you can have the things that mean of value to you. And so a couple of reasons why we seek success relentlessly is the world is super expensive. I don't know if you guys have gone to the store lately or you've had to put gas in your tank. Everything is just going up, up, up. which is also creating this demand for why success is so important. And the other thing is success, it's in our face every single day. So if you're listening to this, you are on some sort of social media. And so any type of social media that you're on, they are pushing success. Either it's the ads that you're watching, or it's, hey, read my book. Or you may have even just landed on an ad that we're putting to promote this podcast, but somehow, some way, you have seen success in your face every single day. And for the people that wake up and they put social media right in their face first thing in the morning, I highly encourage you not to do that. But success from the moment you go to bed, scrolling, and the moment that you wake up, I truly believe that success is just blown into your face. The other thing is pride. People chase success because of pride. I know for me, when I was in my construction company, I wanted to be the successful guy. I wanted to be that guy when I walked into the bar. I wanted to buy everybody's drinks. Why? That was stupid. I was wasting a lot of money, but I wanted people to know that I was successful. And so for me, just as I think about it, like it's the Jimmy Buffett song, like I had enough money to buy Miami, but I pissed it away so fast. Like success because of pride can really derail you. And the other is safety. We all want safety from looking and seeking for success. And what I've come to realize is that there is a very thin line between success and failure. I know in my construction company, success and failure was very, very thin from a margin to where I had to work within profit margins. And also the thin line, and what I have truly found is the more success you have, and if you look at any of the greats, the people that have been very successful in this life and in this world, they have failed more than they have succeeded. I've probably started, depending on like from publishing company to construction company to lawn care company, I've probably started about 11 to 12 companies. And in every single one of those organizations and companies, I have failed time and time and time again. The thin line between success and failure is just not quitting. And I do believe that like failure is the food for success. You can't, like, if you want to be successful, you have to feed the beast. And the way that you feed the beast in success is to be able to navigate failure over and over and over again. And I read it this way too. Success is going from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm. I'm going to let that camp out right there. So you look at the definition, it's an aim, it's a purpose. And then you look at how to become successful. You learn to navigate failure over and over and over and over again without losing enthusiasm. And with Rock Solid Foundation, the organization that I'm leading now, we have failed time and time again in programs. But what I truly believe is that great ideas stem better ideas. So if you're scared to launch, the failure is going to stop you. So we launched a program. It worked during the pandemic. And then we realized it wasn't working as successfully as what we thought it would be after post-pandemic. And so then like I hung on to it for too long, being totally honest. Like I hung on to that program because there is a difference between head and your heart when you're running an organization. And sometimes as leaders, that can be the biggest distance that we have. And so I hung on to the program too long. So then we finally, about a year ago, postponed the program because really in AKA we canceled it, but postpone makes it sound a lot better. We canceled the program. And then we were in another leadership meeting. And then another idea stemmed from that idea. So thank God that we were able to launch, fail, and create better ideas. And so the other thing is to like failure is food for success. It is food for success. And if you're not able to eat the failure, I don't believe that, like I know personally I won't be. And if you're listening to this and if you're not able to chew failure, to sit in failure, there's not going to be much success coming your way. I've never seen where success comes easy. Now, the other thing is, now I'm not talking about if you inherit a lot of money, that's not success, that's luck. There is a difference between success and luck. But I've never seen anyone stumble upon success. Why? Because they have to stumble and they have to navigate through failure. And I know it sounds like I'm beating a dead horse on this, but this is the biggest leadership principle that I have been able to watch and learn over the last couple of years. So going back to what does the world say success is, I saw some quotes. One from Warren Buffett. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but the guy owns a lot of different companies and is worth billions and billions of dollars. But when you ask Warren Buffett, what does success look like to him? Listen to this. I measure success by how many people love me. I measure success by how many people love me. Here's a guy. Now, is it easier for him to say that because he has millions and billions of dollars? Probably. But what that quote is telling me is that this man has stumbled through failure. He's had money pouring out of his eyeballs. But yet, to him, evaluating and processing through failure and failure and failure, that the most important thing to him is the amount of people that love him. Another one that I read was Maya Angelou. Success is liking yourself, liking what you do, and liking how you do it. And the one thing I want to point out to those two different specs of life to where they come from, but both of them are pointing back to like success is happiness, and it's not always money. And these are two very, very influential people to what success. They've been very successful, but at the end of the day, it's about the people that love them and liking what you do. And so I love to do research on what the world says. And honestly, like I've said this before in the podcast, I lead by faith. So I went and I dove into like, what does the Bible say? And I'm not going to dump a bunch of Bible verses on you, but what I am going to say is what I've been able to boil it down to. Success to me is based off of values. And values are what is the aim that I truly believe help people dictate their success to pour out the significance. And what I mean by values is like truly, what do you as a listener, as a human, not just doing, but human being, like being in the moment, if you have to sit and think about this, what is it that means the most to you? And so what if money means the most to you, that's not a bad thing, but you need to identify what you value most, write it down, and then charge for that. And so for me, I've done this exercise year over year over year. And I usually do this value exercise in October. And I get my journal out and I write down what means the most to me. And then the question that I write at the very top is, who am I? And so who are you? When you're listening to this podcast, who are you? Now, that's a hard question. Most people don't like to sit or to camp into that question. But if you want to be successful, you have to know who you are, because if you don't know who you are, then you're going to be climbing a ladder of chasing success. And I think the quote that I've heard many, many times is like, you're going to be climbing a ladder and you're going to lean that ladder on a building that you have no business being in. And it's the wrong building. It's the one that you really wanted to chase, the one you wanted to fight for success. The ladder is now leaning on a different building. And so for me, like, who am I? And so if you're tall, and this is a new exercise for you, get your journal out, write down the question at the very top, who am I? And then start writing statements down. And so it's for me, or for you, how about this? For you, you may be tall. You may love, I am Chuck Jones. I'm 7 feet tall. I am from Texas. I love. Those type of I am statements, just start writing them down. And then right next to it, I would just encourage you to like, what do you value most? For me, what I believe success is, and these are some of my inner thoughts, is freedom to do what I want. I want to be debt-free. My wife and I, we took a course probably about 7 years ago by Dave Ramsey. You can love him or hate him regardless. My wife and I did that practice, and now we're debt-free. We're in process of paying off our home. And I'm not saying that to brag. We had mountains and mountains of debt because of my failed businesses in the past. So if you're listening to this and you have mountains and mountains of debt, this program actually works. And this is not a sponsorship program, but for who am I? I'm Eric Newman, and I'm debt-free. And so for me, what that does is being debt-free, that gives me the freedom to be able to chase things faster, harder, to be able to pour out more significance in my life. The other thing for success is I want my kids to know me. At the end of the day, my kids will not care how many play sets daddy builds if daddy's not there able to play with them. So I take that very, very serious. My assistant helps me block out my calendar, and things with my kids do not come off my calendar. For instance, my son plays baseball all the time, and it will be heaven. I will climb heaven and hell to make sure that I am there for the baseball games. And I want to say this too, like, cheers to the dad that tries, because I feel like in that element of like being successful for your kids, there's a lot of pressure there. And so I want to be able to release that and give freedom to that. As like, I feel like you only hear stories about the dad that was always there or the dad that was never there. And I want to say cheers to the dad that tries, because if it's in the back of your mind and you're trying, you are being successful for your kids. The other thing, I want a strong marriage. There is nothing in this world besides my faith more important to my wife or to my partner. I want a lake house, like into that tension, right? I want a lake house or a beach house. Not, yes, because I think it's awesome, because I like to have a lot of fun. I like to surf. I like to be on the water, but I want a lake house. So identify why you want something. Is A, I want a lake house because it can create extra income for me. B, I want a lake house because it can create moments and memories with my family that they will bring their kids there. And my hope is that they bring their kids there and bring their kids there. A, I want the people that I know to love me the most. And I'm not trying to buy them with the lake house, but I do. I want a lake house, and I have to figure out success to make money to be able to have that happen. The other thing is success. It's a challenging topic. It's a multi-billion-dollar a year business. And as you research it, you can watch YouTube videos, you can listen to podcasts, and I'm telling you, like, the more that you research it, the more confusing that it can become. Why? Because success is what we say about ourselves. So then we go to these YouTube channels, you go to these podcasts, and then you try to identify success based off of that other person. And that's not the way that this works. I believe, and with you listening, the fastest way to figure out to be successful so that you can pour out significance is to figure out these 3 questions. We talked a little bit about who am I? The next question is, what do you believe? And then the next question is, where am I going? See, you got to lead the me before you're able to lead the we. So we've dabbled a little bit in success. I can't answer that question for you, but I can provide a question for you to ask for you to become successful. And the first question in chasing success to pour out significance is, who am I? Spend 15 minutes, answer that question, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Success and Significance podcast. Thank you so much for joining us today. Hey, as always, like and subscribe this podcast, share it with your friends so that more people can learn how to live a life full of success, to pour out significance. Make sure you follow us on social media to get all the latest and greatest content out there. I appreciate you, and we'll see you soon.